Hello, and welcome to my second ever puzzle. It's called All About the Sums, and it's by me. We have normal Sudoku rules apply, killer, digits and cages must sum to the total given, XV, cells separated by an X must sum to 10, cells separated by a V must sum to 5. We have X-windmill. This is where cells that are rotationally symmetric to one another must sum to 10. So this X-windmill is the variant idea that inspired this whole puzzle in the first place. So we'll go through the first three rules, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the X windmill. So normal Sudoku rules apply is that any complete row, any complete column, and any complete 3x3 box of the Sudoku will contain the digits 1 to 9 once each. Then we have our killer cages, right, up at the top of the grid. These cages, when you take the digits that make them up, when they're summed together, they must sum to the total given. So these two digits must sum to 13. These four must sum to 30. These three must sum to 10. So on and so forth. Then we have cells separated by an X must sum to 10. So these two cells, the digits that are in those cells, when you add them together, will sum to 10. And these two cells will sum to 5. And that's because we have a V between them. They are separated by a V, so they will sum to 5. Then comes the X windmill. So again, cells that are rotationally symmetric to one another must sum to 10. This is something that I've been mentioning a lot in recent videos, this idea where we'll see 1, 9, 2, 8, 7, 3, 4, 6, where these digits that are like opposite to each other on the grid sum to 10. And I had a comment. I'm looking over here because I have the comment over on my monitor on the side from Janet on Tony's most recent Sudoku, which was, I think, again, his first 9x9 Sudoku. It's how I finished off the year as the little Sudoku for the end of the year, and it should be linked. Yeah, okay. I'm checking my camera now on this monitor. The It should be linked in a card here, so you should check out that puzzle. Tony did an amazing job with that. But Janet had left a comment about wondering if anyone else had considered the 10 sum rotational symmetry that was in the puzzle. And she was like, I don't know if it was considered guessing or if there's a mathematical property that would have supported its use. And essentially, my response, I was saying that it's something that you'll see pop up in a lot of the gas puzzles and even in my first Sudoku, but I didn't think that it was valid to assume 10 sum rotational symmetry just from the fact that you see it playing out, because it's more of a quirk than a feature. And in the same comment, I said that it could be an interesting concept for a puzzle. And about 2 hours later, out popped this thing. And I sent it out to the Kraken Cryptic Discord, and it got tested and approved, and I was like, perfect, great. I'll see if I can pull up those names later so I can thank the people who solved it. I think only a couple people gave me direct feedback, but I had about 15, 20 people who had solved it right off the bat. Anyways, all that rambling. The rule goes, I gave an example, that row 4, column 2 here, and row 6, column 8, these two cells are rotationally symmetric, and they sum to 10. And in my example, I note that a stricter definition of what rotationally symmetric really means, because if it seems kind of abstract, if you're more mathematically minded, you'll notice that if you take the row number, or the row numbers, row 4, row 6, and you add them together, you get 10. If you look at the column numbers, you get column 2, column 8, and they sum to 10. So if the row and column numbers separately sum to 10, then that is a stricter definition of what rotationally symmetric means. Another more abstract way to think about it is if you were maybe more visually minded to draw a line through the center. So if you think about this 5 here and you go from this cell to this cell, I'm drawing a line through this and I'm ending up here. So here right, would end up here. I'm drawing the line through the center. Here ends up here. Again, drawing the line through the center. So that's it for the rules. The way that this plays out, there's going to be a lot of jumping back and forth. Again, like I built it with a specific path in mind for this one. Um, and it's a lot of jumping back and forth between the top half, which is our killer cages, and the bottom half, which is our XV clues. And it's all again because of our rotationally symmetric. So after what are we 5 minutes into the recording here, over 5 minutes into the recording, let's just jump right into the puzzle. So theoretically, there are a few places where you could try to start this puzzle, but only one of them will really lead you where you want to go. So you might notice the 30 cage, right? 30 in 4 digits can only be done in one way. So maybe you'd start by pencil marking this and trying to think about where these digits would go. Maybe you'll think about this 8 cage and you'll notice, oh, well, I already have 6 staring at this, and you maybe try to work through through the combinations. But in an XV Sudoku, V's are what you normally want to look at because the V's are going to be the most restricted, right? V can only ever have 1, 4, or 2, 3. Well, if you notice right off the bat, we have this 1 here, which stares at this V, which means this is a 2, 3 V, which again, doesn't do much for us right now, but the second you realize, wait a second, I have to remember my X-windmill clues, you get a 7, 8 up here. And now this 30 comes in hand. 30 is a maximum. 30 is made up of 6 plus 7 plus 8 plus 9. Well, we have 7, 8, and 9 staring here, so that gives us 6. 8 stares down the middle, which gives us 8, and we get a 7, 9 pair. 6 gives us 4, 8 gives us 2, and the 7, 9 gives us 1, 3. One thing that I didn't notice originally when I was setting this Sudoku was the fact that you can already place a 9 here by Sudoku, and that's just because, 9 can't go here, 9 can't go here, and 9 can't go in the 10 cage. That's not strictly necessary to see. If you do, then it'll help you out later, but that wasn't kind of my intention. Again, it was you jump here, brings you here. Here gives you here, which now brings you back down here, and then we keep going back and forth through this. But if you spotted this, the 9, right, it adds a little bit something. I won't mark it because, again, that wasn't my intended path, but there are a few times here where if you spot them, like, for example, here, 4, right, 4 by Sudoku can be placed here, and 6 by Sudoku can be placed here. Not strictly necessary to see, but if you do, again, it'll help you along the way. But we'll continue along the path here. 1, 3 gives you 7, 9. 7, 9 gives you 1, 3. Then, this is where you might start looking at the 8 cage again. So 6 tells us that this can't be 2, 6. So this is either going to be 1, 7 or 3, 5. 3, 5, or it can't be 3, 5 in this order. And again, by the same token here, this then becomes what? This becomes a 3, 7, 9, and this becomes a 3, 5, 9, thanks to our rotationally symmetric idea. And the 2, 8 then comes into play here. 2, 8 gets thrown down here. And the 2, 8 here, right, again, ignoring whatever's going on here, which if you do notice, you'll see that it's a 1, 3, 7, 9 quadruple. And again, this is another way that if you didn't spot by Sudoku that 4 would go here, then you'd get a 4, 6 pair and you'd be able to place it. But we'll go back and we'll not worry about that, right? You don't need that to continue with the solve, but again, it's another thing that could be useful while you're going through this. 2, 8 staring at the V. So the same thing right at the start, we had the 1 staring here at this V. Now we have a 2 staring at this V. So this V ends up being a 1, 4, and this 1, 4 then feeds back over to this, giving us 6, 9. And 6, 9, now thanks to the 11 cage, gives us 6 here, because if we tried to place a 9 here, then we need to make 2 in 2 cells, and that's not going to happen. So this is 6, this is 9, which 6 gives us 4, and 4 gives us 1. Then, if you look across the row, or even in the cage, again, kind of looking at the back and forth, we need to make 5 in 2 digits. Well, we can't use 1, 4, so it must be 2, 3. There's a lot of 5s and 10s in this puzzle, if you haven't realized. And because we have the 2, 8, the 2, 8 gives us 3 here, 2 here, 3 jumps over here, gives us 7. 7 with the 2 gives us 8. 8 with the X gives us 2, and 2 gives us 8. So again, a couple ways to do this, but hopefully you've spotted the 2 and the 8 here and how they play with these. So 8 will give you 7, 7, 8, and 7 now you only have one option to make 13, and that's going to be 6. And if you place the 6, you get 6 by Sudoku here, which gives you 4 here. So again, just something else, and of course you get the 4 here. But the thing that I played with a little bit on this, and I'm going to be honest, I was messing around with this on F puzzles a bit before I threw it into Penpa. I was trying to make a cage in this box here work such that I would get exactly what this gives me here. This gives me a 3 in the corner. And in order to do that, it took a surprising amount of tries. So I think I'd put a 12 cage here originally, and a 12 cage gave me, I don't think it was this shape though. I think it was this shape. It's been a little while since I've set this, since I set this puzzle, but the idea was, right, what cage here will give me that 3 in the corner? And yes, I did try with that. I think I played around with a 2x2 cage here even, and this was the one that this 11 cage was the one that gave me the 3 that I was hoping for. But anyways, let's continue with the solve. So now, right, at this point in time, if you haven't noticed what's going on in the center here with this, then, you know, hopefully you would notice it now. You get the 1, 3, 7, 9. And again, as we're going through this, you'll realize things like, wait a second, 8, this is the only place 8 can go in this column, right? The same way that 2, this is the only place 2 can go in this column. And you'll start to get more, not, what's the word? Not information. I guess information works as well as you're going through this. So, you know, like the 7, 9, right? You know, maybe you're noticing now 9 goes here, 1 goes here, and maybe you even noticed that because you were thinking about this this column, right? You notice, oh, I'm only missing 3 digits. So there are a couple ways that you could get to this. I tried to make it a stricter path, but it is tough. You know, I'm kudos to all those all the setters out there who can really, you know, keep people to the exact path they want to take, because even when I was trying to be careful with it, I missed a few things here, which, you know, I'm not I'm honestly not upset about it. I don't think that it takes anything away from the puzzle, because you still kind of have to go along the path that I laid out. So here, you know, you'll notice that we're missing 4, 5. We can get 5 here, 4 here. In the same way, right, we can use our symmetry. We don't even have to think about what we're missing because the symmetry has done the work for us. Here, you know, if we think about this triple, right, we're missing 1, 3, 4. This has to be 1, this has to be 4, this has to be 3. Same token, this has to be 9, this has to be 6, and this has to be 7. 4 now gets pushed into this part of the cage. And that's helpful because the 10 cage can't use 6, 7, 8, or 9. Well, I guess it couldn't use 9 or 8 in the first place, but 6 or 7, which means that it has to use 5. Because if it doesn't use 5, the best that you could do is 2, 3, 4, and that's 9. So you're going to come up short. So you know that you need 5 in here, and now you also know you need 4 in here. So if you need 4 and 5, then it must be 1, 4, 5. 4, 5 gives us 1. 4, 5 is resolvable. 5, 4. 5 gets placed here, 5 gets placed here, 6 gets placed here, and 9 gets placed. Wait, did I do that? Oh, I did that wrong. 9 gets placed here. There we go. We're missing 2, 3, which is resolvable in a couple ways. We get 2 here, 3 here. 2, we get 8 here, 7 here. Here, we are only missing what? We're missing 5. Here, we're only missing 5. Here, we have 7, 9 pairs, so that leaves us with 2. 2 leaves us with 8. In the box here, this is a 1, 3, which is not currently resolvable from what I can tell. Did I miss something? I don't think not yet anyways. 7, 9, 7, 9. Oh yeah, I think it's if I remember correctly, there's something that happens here with it, right here. Here we go. Like this, for example, can't be 1. It can't be 7. This can only be 5. That makes this 5. 5 gives us 3, 3, 3. 3 gives us 7, but also 7, 9, 9, 1, 1, 3, 9, 7, and it all just starts to unfold. You get 9 here, 7 here. 3 gives us 1, 3, or by symmetry we get that. We'll pull 3, 7 out of here. We are still missing what? 2. So we still need to place 2 here. This is 8, 8. And then to finish this off, this needs a 3, 9, and that's how we get the 9 here in the center, or maybe you do it from this direction with 7, 1. Either way, you'll be able to resolve this. So 3 gets placed here, 9 gets placed here, 9 gives us 1, 9, and the 1 gives us 1, 7, and we are done in 11 minutes and 38 seconds. Not that the time is a big deal here. I have a little custom congratulations message. Congratulations on completing the Sudoku, right? Thank you to Philip. So again, Philip Newman was the one who inspired this 1 to 9 diagonal with his 1 to 9 series. I just really loved the concept of the minimal givens, and that's kind of been my inspiration. And of course, I shout out Janet here for inspiring this X-windmill variant. And again, the shameless self-promotion to check out the YouTube channel, which you're already here. So welcome and thank you for joining me for this walkthrough of my second Sudoku. I'm excited to keep working on my setting skills and developing more complicated Sudokus. I think it would be really exciting to maybe set like a Fog of War Sudoku, but I think that might be a little bit down the line. I might be jumping the gun, jumping straight to a Fog of War Sudoku, but definitely something that that's a good goal that I'd like to set for myself in the coming months. So if you have any ideas for some Sudokus that you would maybe like to see come to life, or if you're just a setter yourself and you'd like to share some of your puzzles, please share those down below. And with all that said and done, I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching.